Alright, welcome to my channel. This is Lock Chuck. What I've got today for you is an AbusPlus 8850. This is a disc detainer lock. Kind of show you, I'll show you the discs, and I first made a front tensioning tip for it. I did get it picked once with this. It probably took, well, the picking attempt I got it on video took almost 15 minutes to get it picked with this front tensioning. And you had to do a lot of counter rotation and stuff, and I think a better option is to go to a mid tensioning setup. So I made a new mid tensioning tip setup. So this is it. It works okay, I'll say that. I got it picked once before I started filming it, and then this time, as you'll see, it went fairly quick this time. But you know, this is just, I want to say it's 1.5 millimeter ejector. I won't say injector, but it's ejector pin, and I just cut the head down. You know, it's about 4.4 millimeters thick, and I think it's 2.8 millimeters thickness. I don't worry about the tips because the diameter of the head is smaller than the tip of the key anyway, so all I have to do is cut the sides down. Then this is a 2 millimeter tube. Well, I take 15 thousandths filler gauge, silver solder it on, and again cut it down to that 2.8 width and file it down to solder, because usually the solder kind of pours out a little bit. File it down to back down to where it's about 0.4 thick, and then I solder it into a 6 millimeter by 2 millimeter tube so I can put it in my tensioning tip. So this is still my regular tensioning, or my picking handle that I've been using. So just quick, I go over more details at the end, but these are the discs. You do have a spinner at the front, which is drill protection, a butterfly at beginning, which can be overset, and then it's like any other thing. It's a disc spacer, and they line up to the key. And then the last one is a butterfly, and it is a zero cut. So both of the butterflies are zero cut, but they can be overset if they're, you know, turned. So I'll show that while I'm picking. And that's why the front tensioning, you know, when you tension off of this one, you're actually overset. So the sidebar, it won't bind on the front discs as much because you got something blocking it. So that's why the mid tensioning, once you get a few discs in the right orientation, you find one that's a zero cut, and I believe, you know, there's a zero cut there, and then there's two here that can be used to tension off of. But however you, depending on your lock bitting and everything, will determine that. But anyway, alright, well, let me get this by magic of video back together, and I'll show you the picking. Alright, let's get the picking. So it does work. And the device is locked back up. I do start this one by rotating everything clockwise as far as it'll go with the little turner. And then this is the hardest part, is getting this picking here and started on the first disc, because using a mid tensioning setup. So alright, so I'm on the first disc. Oh, I was. Alright, so I'm on the first disc and tensioning. I'm gonna try to slide all the way to the back. Alright. And I'm gonna try to find the first disc. Alright. So there is the first disc. I do know from picking that this is a butterfly disc. So I'm gonna skip it just for a second. And it's basically a zero cut disc, but you can't overturn it. So this one here is let me see. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm gonna put a little mark. I'll just try to give you something to reference. So this is 0, and that's 0 there. I know some horrible lines there, but sorry. Alright, so that's basically it's a 0 cut. That's disc, the second from the back. It's not disc 2, but it's second from the back. So that is fully rotated. So now what I'm going to do is go back to the butterfly, rotate it back, and then only rotate it to where I think the other one was. And then because, well, I'll just show you. See, it will rotate further. Hopefully that's showing up. But anyway, so I'm going to rotate it back and rotate it up to that line just a little bit. So it should be about the same position as this disc. And I do know that this one is also 0. This one is sorry. This is gonna be what I'm fighting the whole time, is slipping off the discs. So this is, I'm not getting any feedback right now. So that disc isn't binding. Sorry. Let's see. Alright. So okay. That one's not binding. That one was bind as soon as I turn past it. So that's gritty. I can feel the false gates, but right there it's kind of loose. Try it right there. So what I'm going to do, I think, let's see. I think this is a 0 cut, so I'm just going to try to test it and see. I'm just going to rotate the front butterfly disc back just a little bit. Just checking. So nothing, it gives right, well, it gave because I fell off of it, I think. No, it didn't. Right there it gives. So I'm gonna try to move this one up. I'm switching my tension to the far picking tip. It kind of gets confusing because this is the far tip and this is the close tip. So loosen up on my tension. If I can get that to rotate. That's not very much movement. That's got pretty good movement there. Huh. Wow. Alrighty then. I'm gonna call that a success. Oh my goodness. Ah. Oh. Okay. Alrighty. So, well, let me zoom out a little bit. Sorry if it shakes, but I'm gonna zoom out a little bit just so I can try to get the gutting in frame. Until it's open. Alright. Let's try to get this thing gutted. Alright, so this one is a little different than the there's a screw in the ABUS to disassemble that you take out that points straight down. It's a little Phillips head on this one, and there's 2 ball bearings that will, well, sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. Oh, let's see. Oh well, so they don't want to come out right now, but once that's out or loose, you can screw this off, because that pushes on 2 ball bearings, which then locks this up, and there's the ball bearings. Now they'll come out this way. Let's see, where's the other one? It's probably, there it is. It came out that way, and I'm dropping a disc out, 2 discs out. That's all right. So there is the front spinner plate. All it is it's for drill protection. This is the actual first disc. Let's see if I can drop it back in there the right way. Let's see, I think it goes that way. So the reason I'll show you if you can. Yeah. So this disc can, well, it's in the unlocked position right now, but this disc can actually, see there, let's see, I'm hoping it shows up. So right now that's in the correct position, but it can actually turn past, it can be overset. That's what makes this a little bit harder to lock, which, let me spin it back. I'm gonna lock it back, so, well, I gotta put this back. Close the shackle, put it back. Alright, so now it's in the lock position. The locking bar is there, so when you're actually turning now, you can actually, so there is the correct position, but this disc will actually turn past it, so it can be overset. So anyway, alright, let me see if I can drop this whole thing out. Yep, there is the core with all the discs. There is the sidebar right there. Take that out. So I'll probably fast forward through this, and then I'll come back and go over the discs individually. So all right, so where is the core, the housing? So that is the first spinner. There is the butterfly disc, which is essentially a 0 with a little bit of an overset possibility. Let me put the key up here so maybe. So it is a 0 cut here. That's that disc is a 0 cut here. Then you have, I'm assuming it's like a 3 or 4 cut for this disc and this disc. You can see there's a false gate before and after, then you got a 0 cut, which is here, It has looks like two false gates at least before. Then you got just like a number 1 cut here with 2 false gates before. Then you go to a 6, I believe, and let's see. So that is a 0 cut. So there's no, since it's a 0 cut, there's not normally false gates before, because it starts here. The sidebar is already in it, and then afterwards you get 2 false gates. And then you got another 0 cut, a 0 cut, and then the last butterfly disc, which is pretty much identical to that one. And this one, they both can be overset. So that's why I think I was talking about, you rotate, you find this disc. Since this was a 0 disc, I can use it as a reference to see where I need to turn this. I don't turn it all the way, because if I do, I'm oversetting it. So, alrighty, thanks for watching. This was the AbusPlus 8850. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. Thank you.